and I've been looking at some of the alternatives. Now, if you want to go down the Adobe route, you can buy their application on disk or download for somewhere in the region of £100 at the moment as a standalone. If you want to have Photoshop and Lightroom, it's going to cost you £8, very precise, £8.78 a month, and that is ongoing, or 1 year prepaid for £104.86. And what they
every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every month, every year.
And when you stop paying, you own nothing.
Yes. And sadly, I regard it as something of a rip-off and a swizz, actually. It's a means of gouging cash out of the punter, and I can see if you're running a business and you are reliant on Adobe products, then you're going to pay the Adobe tax if those are the applications that your clients expect you to be using for, and colleagues, fellow professionals are using. You're going to end up paying. Let's have a look. Business is complete. Is £53 a month, which is going to be £638 a year for the whole lot.
So you mean that's the whole of the Creative Suite?
Yes, £638 a year, and they promise that you can have every single one of the up-to-date versions as they release them.
But that's
Of
not,
Office
that's not the educational price.
Sorry?
And storage,
Yeah.
yes.
And 100 gigabytes of cloud
That is
storage.
not the educational price, which will be a lot less than that, I think.
Students and teachers, you've got that one. Let's have a look here now. So there's another.
It's the same as the previous one.
Yeah. Let's have a look now. There you go. The complete version is £15.88, and that gives you 20 gigs of storage, 190 a year. Schools and universities, named user, 300
That was tricky, named user.
It's a lot of cash if you aren't earning.
Every year.
Yeah, and I know we've got some people here who are professionals and earn their living, so it's all tax deductible. For the rest of us, actually, that's kind of a big wad of cash, and can I justify it? Basically, I can't. Now, I'm going to put in an opinion now and say that I think that Aperture, although it won't be supported and won't be developed, I'm inclined to think that unless they do something radical with the underlying operating system, I think that it will continue to work and be stable for some years. I've just sold, thank you very much, a DV video camera, and I've copied off all the stuff from the tapes that have been done over the years about a week ago, and I used iMovie HD. Do you remember that?
It's fabulous.
Yeah, and it's actually more stable with the latest versions of Mac OS than it was when I was last using it 3 or 4 years ago, which kind of gives me hope actually that if Aperture is good enough, actually it's good. If it's good enough today, unless there's a killer feature that you want somewhere else, then I think it's going to be good enough tomorrow, next year, the year after.
However, I was just wondering this myself, how long will it stay a boxed product that you can buy like that you don't have to have it included in a subscription one? We don't know how long it's going to stay around. So again, it's a bit of a gamble.
Did you want to come in on this? Did you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you said you want to talk about the Aperture thing.
Not at this stage, no, but I'll talk about the pricing of the iCloud thing eventually.
Okay.
So, but no, I think it's what's been said has been said. I mean, I think that as somebody said before, I think it's Darren, that the fact that they're opening up Photo app to developers is the most important thing,
Yes.
because I think within a year or two
You're right, yeah.
we will have the functionality which will probably exceed what we had with Aperture. So I wouldn't be in a rush to buy Lightroom if you're using Aperture at the moment. I think we might see some exciting third-party plugins.
This is
Almost
already
certainly Nick
some
software will
things.
support them.
Yes,
I've got
definitely.
Nick software as well.
Yeah, I think they will almost certainly, Google will almost certainly support them.
But one of the difficulties for Apple is that they are, in real terms, quite a small company. You know, they've got, what, 60,000 staff in California, which might sound, well, that's huge, but if you look at the issues they've had, shifting engineers from OS 10 across to developing the operating system, etc., and into applications, actually at times, whilst maintaining their current scale, actually they've got a bit of an issue there. So
Yeah.
in operational terms, opening it up to outside developers and putting the hooks in for them to use makes really good sense.
It's already started to happen. You can see updates in some software, like the software I bought the other day, which is Pixelmator, which is a very good image editor. That's already starting to have things listed for Yosemite, for including extensions use. And you can easily see that hooking in with Photos.app. So you can do extensive, very, very powerful editing in Pixelmator. But it will be joined at the hip pretty much with Photos.app, so it'll be a seamless experience. In fact, you'll be able to do Pixelmator edits without leaving Photos.app, because those editing capabilities will be able to be seen within Photos.app
So you
from
don't have to-
Pixelmator.
yeah.
So you wouldn't have to swap from app to app to
Yeah,
app.
yeah.
And Pixelmator is beginning to catch up with Photoshop now. It's got a long way to go, but
It's got quite a
catching up
few of
fast.
its tools, and it's got a few tools that Photoshop hasn't got, and it only costs, what is it? How much is it? 20 or 30 quid? Something
Very,
like that?
very, very.
30 or 40 maybe. And
Yeah, it might be
they
slightly more expensive.
they regularly put it on special.
It's one of the best applications I've ever used,
Really?
and it's definitely worth the money. You do some extensive photo work you wouldn't be able to do very easily without spending a large sum of money on, something like Photoshop.
And there are some other alternatives as well. If you've got a Panasonic camera and one or two other of the non-Canon and Nikon brands, you can download for free Silky Pix Developer Studio, which let's see, and that handles RAW from a limited number of camera producers. You can do batch exports, conversions, etc. Whole range of stuff. And that's the free version. It's available for both Mac and Windows, and it's and there are several levels of Pro version, ranging from about 110, 120 through to about 180 euros or thereabouts. And it's a very powerful piece of software. And then there's Corel. You may remember them, they abandoned the Mac years ago. They bought, won't buy another name, I can't remember what it is now, but they bought a piece of software. I'm getting irritated by this next, isn't it?
Haven't got much room there.
No, I haven't.
No.
And I'm,
It's squashed.
yes, I'm getting positively irritated. Will this go to a better resolution?
No, try and scroll across
Yeah,
it.
let's
See if
have a
you
look.
can,
Oh, where are we? Come on.
Yay!
there we go.
There. I think Graham knew that all along.
I'm just enjoying watching you struggle.
Yes, I know. So here we go with. Where is it? Where you go? Oh, there's one. There's the one that's up there. Sorry.
Looking at it.
Yeah. That's the one.
It
Yeah.
is.
Quit it and start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have to quit it because it's got
There we go.
confused.
That's okay. Well,
Sort of.
drag it down. And actually it's quite good because it works from the file system as opposed to setting up a separate package. So there's downloaded pics. Today I went out for a walk with my psychotic hound and I took my, he's a Jack Russell Terrier, it's part of the job description. Where are I? That's some old photos. There he is, that's a little pic I took today of him. Bless him. And as you can see, it's fairly quick. This is in RAW, an 18 point something megapixel camera. The screen is not doing them justice, I'm afraid to say.
Look at the laptop screen.
Yeah. And that's around Killerton, the old chapel there. So they're just some pictures that I snapped today in order to show you that actually this is quite a smooth piece of kit, and you've got a whole range of tools there.
So is that the curves you were talking about? So the glide curves and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Plugins. This you can buy it via Amazon for about 50-60 quid. There's a review that's just been done on PC Pro about it, and they are slightly dismissive. Where are we? Coral Aftershock. They are saying that actually it's a missed opportunity. There are some issues with JPEG output, etc. But overall, it's it's not a bad application. There you go, £49, £59 including that. So if you want to stay clear of Aperture or use an alternative, there's an option there. And the CEO of Coral, as the Chief Technology Officer, is saying that they're going to upgrade it in the near future in view of the end of Aperture in an attempt to snaffle some of the market. If you want something different, it looks quite good actually. And working from the file system itself, there's an advantage there. So you're no longer tied to Aperture's discrete libraries, etc. Yeah, it's got an advantage. And all this is a fairly up-to-date Mac. It's only a matter of weeks old at the moment. I think it's nonetheless it works quite nicely. And I'm not going to demonstrate all the things like curves, etc., because I'm a complete photo nut. I've got a lot to learn. So there are options out there, varying from free through to very reasonable. If Aperture falls over, so be it. But there are choices, and Adobe is trying to tie people in to the most expensive one of the lot, so that they can gouge money from your pocket.
Unless you buy their sort of Elements version, I suppose.
There isn't an Elements version of Lightroom, though, is there?
I don't know.
No, there's a for Photoshop Elements, but Lightroom itself is about 100 quid.
The Premiere Elements, isn't it?
How much is it to buy as a,
Yeah,
as a
it's
package, not signing in for this yearly upgrade?
It's 100 quid. You can download it via Amazon or a boxed
The
version.
whole set?
No, that's
No,
just,
that's
that's just
just-
for that's just for Lightroom.
That's just for like.
You can't
For a year.
buy.
There is no buy
boxed
only
versions anymore.
option now. You have
Oh.
to
It's a
subscribe.
yearly. The most you can do is
I
rent it for a
did
year.
it just in time then, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, Office are going that way as well. At the moment, Office.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
but
saw
365
this
in the cloud
rental
has-
You
thing
can
and I
see
thought,
why they're
that's-
doing that. They want
that's
to have
greedy.
the security, and they know that they've got the revenue stream coming in, so they
Yeah.
can do some more interesting things with the development.
The problem I have with it
Actually,
is
I
if
think
you use
they
it as
just
a,
want revenue to
Yeah.
make more profit and
Yeah.
gouge the users.
the problem I see with it, although there are ways of getting around this, is that if you use it as a professional tool, a professional editing tool for photos, once you stop paying and you've created all your multi-layered Photoshop files, you own nothing. You don't own Photoshop, so how can you load them back in to edit them again?
You can view them.
You can
As a
view them,
viewing
exactly,
tool.
but
That's it.
you've got your multi-layered Photoshop files.
Frozen.
You can't then frozen in time, which you cannot then re-edit unless you start paying Adobe
Yeah,
again
yeah.
for the
So you're stuck.
so you're stuck with what your last edit. So if you wanted to go back and re-edit a photo or resubmit it for some other means and take one of those layers out, you have to then start paying Adobe again. So you could never stop paying for Adobe.
So I think in summary, our kind of advice is not to panic. Don't do anything. Wait
do
and see.
anything,
But
Which is
certainly
why-
don't buy.
Which is why in the 80s
Lightroom
I
at the
recommended people not to get court on
I'd say it's a good
licensing.
idea not to buy anything at the moment.
Yes, I just want to mention the new iCloud prices.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's not clear whether it's iCloud or iCloud Drive or both, but the first 5 gig is free as it is at the moment, and then 20 gig for $9 a month is quite reasonable.
Yeah,
And
the price has gone
200
down.
gig for $4 a month is even more reasonable. And then you can have, as Graham said, you can have any amount of tiers up to 1 terabyte.
Mm. So from my point of view, since photos.app is going to be free, I'm sure it's going to be free,
Pretty much.
with the reduction in prices for iCloud Drive, as you're saying there, my photo library will easily fit into me just having to spend £3 or £4 a month. And that will sort me for all my software, all my syncing on all my systems, and I'll be able to use a better workflow for editing photos.
What would that do to Dropbox then?
Won't do anything in the short term because Dropbox has a lot of enterprise hooks and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But from an Apple user point of view, I mean, I've got Dropbox and SugarSync on mine. But I only use the free account with Dropbox. With SugarSync, I pay for the old 30 gig a year, and I'm paying. I can't remember what I'm paying, but I will certainly stop paying with iCloud. And I imagine lots of people who are paying for additional storage on Dropbox or SugarSync or whatever will end up potentially going down the same route. I don't see a reason to pay for it if I don't need to. I've got copies on the computer. I'll copy it to iCloud Drive. And I'll go that way. It's much cheaper. It's likely that the prices will come down. Google Drive is particularly cheap. Google Drive is arguably driving the prices down. We'll do a feature on cloud storage when iCloud Drive is out. A round of applause for Kane then, please. Thank you very much.